Hi all, welcome to SQL Server Introduction course. In this course, we talk about the basic concept about SQL Server. So this video is about adding an identity or ID column to your table that you have already. In one of our videos, we've created a database which is called demo. So I'm going to expand that. And then there is a table inside this database which is called customers. So to add an ID, right click, open your table in design. Once the table is opened in design, you should be able to see you've got your column name, you've got data types, you want to allow null or non-null. So in our case, we say every customer needs to have a first name, so that cannot be blank. Last name cannot be blank. Address one cannot be blank. Well, you can allow nulls for address number two. That's what we're doing, and if you don't want to, you can just untick that too. Yeah, but to add an ID, I'm just going to add ID. An ID, in my case, I'm going to assign a data type of int. So this is just going to be numbers. And by default, it says allow null. So that means you can have customers with no ID, but that's not the case. I don't want to do that. So I just want to untick this. That means do not allow it. Now you can see the column properties. So if you want to see this, if you want to see all your properties and just to have a bit more view, you can just expand or collapse the increase or decrease your height of this property column in here. But yeah, I've got the ID, and if we look at ID, so you've got the general, that's your name. Allow nulls, no, we don't want to allow null. You've got your data type also. But what we need is from all these different properties that you could see is the column where it says identity specification. And if you see, this is already collapsed right now, but if there is an arrow, so click on the arrow, you should be able to see another three after that. So as soon as your identity specification is expanded, you have is identity, right? So the column that it is that we creating, is this an identity column? Yes, it is, because what that would mean is as soon as you add an identity column to your table, you should be able to now reference that in your other tables as well. Like later on, creating relationships is one of our video that we would be creating relationships, and we will be based our relationship based off this ID column with the customers. That's one thing. And the other purpose or the benefit of having an ID column is that you will be able to now create or store unique customers. Now, for example, a customer could have the same name and same last name, but they'll have different IDs. So you should be able to say, this customer have that ID, this customer have that ID. Now, for example, if you would giving someone's, bank details, maybe like a bank account, someone could have the same name and surname, but their bank account number will always be different. So that's where the identity column comes in. So yeah, in our case, we just say that it is identity. Yes, it is. And then you've also got identity increment and you've got identity seed. Right, so what is increment and what is seed? Now, the identity seed is that says, your identity column, where do you want to start that? So it will automatically start with 1 and it will increment by 1 also. But what I do want to see is, I want to see all my IDs to start, well, to have at least 3 digits. So I'm just going to do that with 100. I'm going to start it with 100 and then I'll increase it by 1. So yeah, 101, 102 and stuff like that, that will just then increase automatically. Now, once you've added your ID column, you just select your data type, which in my case is int, is identity, that is yes, increment by 1. You can add more numbers if you want to increment it, but for me it's 1. And seed, I'm going to start mine on 100, and all IDs will have minimum of 3 digits. So that's go on save. Once you click on save, you can see that that's saved. Now we can just close that. What we'll do is we'll do a table, right click, just do a refresh. That will refresh our columns and the tables as well. So just expand this, go to columns. You now should be able to see an ID column. Now if I open our customer table, I'm just going to right click and say select top 1000. You should be able to see people having IDs assigned to them automatically. Right, so we've got the first name Said Dabas, they've got 100, and you've got Catherine Abel 101, you've got Kim 102, you've got again Kim, and all these, with different addresses, different people. But yeah, you could see that the ID is added default to 100, and it's automatically incrementing by 1, going up. The more customers that you will add, this will automatically be created for you. It will automatically be, incremented as well. One final thing that I do want to see do is, now if you look, you've got your first name, you've got your last name, address 1, address 2, city, postcode. Most of the time, in most cases, it's not necessary, by the way, it's not required, but the ID column is usually at the beginning of your table. So let's just do that now. I'm going to close this. Again, right click, design, and it's just as simple as clicking on here, and as soon as you can see this sort of that button here, you can click on it and drag it. It's going to drag it to the beginning, and that's is 8. So click save. Now close your table. Again, a refresh, it's not required to refresh, yeah, but good. Select top 1000, and you should be able now to see ID, first name, and you've got your postcode and all that as well.